This conference will now be recorded.
Don't enable your mics when the session is going on. Whenever if I ask you any question, please respond through chat box only. So the students who joined today, this is a day 2. Yesterday only we started this batch. Yesterday I covered 5 questions. Let me revise briefly. Yesterday I asked you what is Java. The simple answer for this, Java is an object-oriented programming language. Not only Java is a object-oriented programming language, apart from that, Java is a platform. Sir, what is meant by platform? It's a runtime environment plus API, stands for Application Programming Interface. In your C++, your C++ programs will run under the control of the operating system, but Java programs will never run under the control of operating system. Java is having its own runtime environment called as JVM, Java Virtual Machine, is having its own runtime environment to run the Java programs. And not only that, Java is also a technology. We never say C language is a technology. We never say C++ is a technology. So with the technology part in the Java, always we are going to develop the web application, internet-based applications. And the next one is, what are the various flavors that are available in the Java? Means as per the standards, Sun Microsystem is the company who developed this Java programming. The father of the Java is James Gosling, but currently this project was handed over and sold to Oracle Corporation. So the flavors of Java is nothing but Java to Standard Edition, Mobile or Micro Edition, Java to Enterprise Edition. You are learning core Java means you are learning what? You are learning Java to Standard Edition you are learning. Sir, what is the prerequisite to learn the Java? That means if I want to learn the Java, what should I know? Very fundamentals of C programming language. If you know minimum idea about each and every topic what I have listed out here, you are absolutely eligible to learn this course. What do I become after learning this course? You are just eligible to learn Java technology. Why? Because even though once you got a job with the core Java knowledge, the people will train you, no doubt at all, in the technology part also. Where is Java is used? Generally to develop enterprise application, especially internet-based enterprise application, nothing but business applications. Where is C language used? To develop the system softwares. Even C++ also meant for to develop system softwares. What are the examples for system software? Your operating system, device drivers, language translators. These are all examples for system softwares. Sir, this is the part yesterday we covered very clearly about the basics. And now today we are going to discuss procedure orientation, procedure orientation versus object orientation, procedure orientation and object orientation. Now the point is, when somebody will ask you what is a Java, what is your immediate answer? Java is a object oriented programming language. Java is a object oriented programming language. But my question is, without knowing this terminology, without understanding anything what is meant by object orientation, you are not eligible to write even a single program on Java as per my knowledge. So before we are going to write any programs using Java programming language, thoroughly you must have some idea what is mean by object orientation. Thoroughly you must have some idea about object orientation. Clear, right? Now, before moving to the object orientation, one point I want to ask you. You know, in industry means in software industry. In software industry, there are two famous paradigms, or you may call it as a methodologies, or you may call it as a approaches also. Approaches generally to develop a project, to develop any application in the software industry. Generally people will follow two paradigms, two famous paradigms or approaches or methodologies, whatever you can call. The two famous approaches are nothing but one is procedure oriented approach, and the second one is object oriented approach. What is that? It is a methodology or a paradigm, whatever the term you can use. Procedure oriented approach, and second one is object oriented approach. Do you know among the two approaches, which is the old one and which is the new one? Do you have any idea? Old one is nothing but procedure oriented approach is the old one. New one is nothing but object oriented approach is the new one. I want to know how new it was. You are saying that it is a new. I want to know how new it was. Do you know in 1995 Java first version was released into the market, and before that 1991 I think Python was released into the market. If I am sure in 1985 I think C++ was released. C++, Python, Java, all these programming languages are object oriented programming languages only. Am I correct or not? No doubt they are object oriented programming languages. Sir, which language I can call it as a object oriented programming language? If you ask me such a kind of doubt, one simple example I want to tell you. Sir, assume there is a school or college anniversary function is going on. There is one student called XYZ is giving dance performance. Can I say that audience are saying that the people who watched this performance given by the XYZ, they are saying that XYZ is imitating something like a senior NTR. Sir, when can I say that the performance given by the student XYZ is like a senior NTR performance? Because while the person is delivering his performance on the stage, almost he is imitating the steps done by senior NTR. That's why people are calling you are imitating senior NTR. Maybe in some other function the same person XYZ, if he is imitating the steps of ANR, then people can say that you are following ANR, you are imitating ANR. So tomorrow maybe into the market, if any new programming language will come with the name called XYZ, can I call this language as a procedure oriented or object oriented? How should I know? Very simple. The person who implemented or who developed this programming language, while developing this language, if he implemented procedure oriented features, in this language, then I can say that it is a procedure oriented programming language. Sir, if he is imitating senior NTR steps, I can call you are imitating senior NTR. No, your dance is almost, your steps are imitating ANR. I can say that you are imitating ANR. So like that, sir, maybe in future if any programming language will come into the market with the name called XYZ, if the person who developed this language implemented that language with the procedure oriented features, then I can say procedure oriented programming language. No sir, at the time of developing this language, the father of this language, followed object oriented features, sir. Followed object oriented features, then only we can say that it is object oriented programming language. Now, sir, this is James Gosling, Guido van Rossum, John Stroudstup. He is the father of C++, and Guido van Rossum is the father of Python. James Gosling is the father of Java, and John Stroudstup is the father of C++. All these persons, while developing their own programming languages, they implemented object-oriented features in their programming language. Sir, they implemented object-oriented features in their programming language. I know that everybody doesn't have an idea what is this object-oriented feature. I can make it very clear in the today's session. So what is the similarity between all these programming languages? Sir, there is one student called X, another student called A, another student called Z. All are giving the dance performance on the same stage, but one by one, without knowing to the other person, all the people are danced like a famous actor called something called Chiranjeevi. Then what is the similarity between these between these three students? What is the similarity between these three students? All the students are imitating the same famous personality. It does not mean that X is a brother of A is a cousin of Z. There is no blood relationship between them, but the simple relationship between them. So without knowing one another, they performed some dance. So they have given some dance performance. All of them together, they are imitating the same actor called as some senior actor or famous actor. We can call it as a megastar Chiranjeevi. So like that, in the C++ and Python and Java, all the persons who developed these languages, they implemented which features in their programming language? Object oriented features. Now I have a small question for you. Now tell me, sir, this X is imitating, giving the dance performance, simply is following megastar Chiranjeevi steps, and A also is doing the same, Z also doing the same. Now can you expect the same kind of performance by X, A and Z? Anyone tell me in the batch? Is it possible the performance given by X, A and Z, so they're all going to perform at same level? Is it possible? No, they're having their own style. Sir, X may be in a worst way he performed the dance. A extraordinarily he implemented the dance show, and Z is above average. So they are having their own style to follow that famous artist. So like that, sir, while implementing object-oriented features in C++, John Stroudstup follow his own style. Sir, while implementing these object-oriented features in Python, Guido van Rossum may be followed the same style. The way John Stroudstup followed, or he may follow in a different way. Sir, it is my choice. It is my choice. So in the same way, while implementing Java programming language by the father called James Gosling, he may implemented object-oriented features in a different way. Now tell me, if everybody understood what is the similarity between C++, Python and Java? So what is the similarity is, they're all kind of object-oriented programming languages. Now, sir, 1985, the C++ language is released into the market. Before 1985 only, object orientation must be there in the market. Yes or no? Am I correct or not? Sir, at the time of developing C++ by John Stroudstup in the year 1985, definitely there must be object oriented methodology must be there in the market before 1985. Assume roughly, sir, it is there in the market. Sir, assume roughly it is there in the market from 1980s. Currently we are at 2021, sir. Currently we are at 2021. So just add 20, it will become 2000 plus 21, almost 41 years. Almost 41 years for object oriented approach. Almost 41 years for object oriented approach. What about procedure oriented approach? Do you know C language is a procedure oriented programming language? It was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972, released into the market in the year 1972. Maybe this procedure oriented approach is there in the market from 1960, roughly from 1960 to 2021, almost 61 years old fellow, the procedure oriented approach was. So when compared to the both approaches, this is the old one, this is the new one. Even though object orientation is a 41 years old fellow, still we are feeling that when compared to the procedure and object orientation is a new approach. Now once again I am repeating. So in industry, to develop a project, generally people can follow two approaches or two methodologies or two paradigms. They are nothing but procedure oriented approach and either procedure or object oriented approach they can follow. So among the two approaches, which is the old and which is the new? Procedure is the old one and object orientation is the new one. Now I have another doubt. You know what is my doubt is, in any field you can take, in any field or in any technology you can take. Sir, it may be in the medicinal field, it may be in the medicinal field, it may be in the garments, or it may be in the agricultural field, it may be in the agricultural field. Any field you can take, any field you can take, any field. Sir, already there is a popular existing technology or popular medicines are there. There are so many varieties of cloths are there. So many new technologies are there in the agricultural field. Still existing technologies are there. Whenever a new technology will come, why people will move from old one to the new one? Old one to the new one. Sir, already in every field there is some existing technology will be there. There will be some existing technology will be there. So whenever into the market, sir, whenever into the market, if any new technology will come, then why people will be attracted too much towards a new technology? Because the reason, so old one is having some of the drawbacks and a new technology, with the new technology we can overcome those drawbacks. We can overcome those drawbacks. We can overcome those drawbacks, and apart from that, some extra features also. Let us come to your telecom. Let us come to your telecom. So earlier 10 years back we will be having 2G, later 3G, later 4G, now into the market 5G. Sir, whenever 2G sims are there, when 3G entered into the market, people are almost forgot about using the 2G sim. Sir, whenever 3G is successfully running, when 4G is entered into the market, people stopped using 3G and almost migrated to 4G. Maybe within short period of time, maybe within 1 or 2 years, people are going to stop using the 4G. People are moving towards 5G. What is the reason? Because with respect to the signal strength, with respect to the quality of the call, with respect to the internet connection, so n number of features are there in the new technology, and old technologies are having some drawback. We can overcome those drawbacks with the help of this new technology. Now my question is, sir, whenever there is a procedure oriented approach is there, why people are going for object oriented approach? Because maybe in the procedure oriented approach there may be some drawback. To overcome those drawbacks, people are going for object oriented approach. So what is our agenda actually? Sir, what is Java means? Java is an object oriented programming language. I want to know what is meant by object orientation. Sir, what is meant by object orientation? It is a methodology that is used to develop any application. Sir, before this methodology, is there any existing methodology is there in the market? Yes, it is there, called as procedure oriented approach. So before understanding what is object orientation, I want to know what are the drawbacks of the procedure oriented approach. I want to know what are the drawbacks of the procedure oriented approach. So what are the heading, you know? Drawbacks in procedure oriented approach. Drawbacks in procedure oriented approach. So I'm going to write one statement here. So listen very carefully. What is the drawback in the procedure oriented approach, you know? So in procedure oriented approach, data and code that act upon the data, sir, the data and code that act upon the data are not properly organized. Sir, they are not properly organized. Sir, they are not properly organized. What is the drawback in the procedure oriented approach? Maybe with this line, you may not get a full clarity. I can make it very clear, don't worry. So what is the biggest drawback in the procedure oriented approach? Data and code that act upon the data, they are not perfectly organized. They are not perfectly organized. Now, if anyone asks me in the interview, what is the advantage of the object oriented approach? What is the advantage of the object oriented approach when compared to the procedure oriented approach? I have seen m number of students. I have seen n number of students in the interview. If the interviewer will ask one question, basic question, what is the advantage of object oriented approach when compared to the procedure oriented approach? They are going to start reading. Do you know, in every textbook there is an index paper now? There is some index paper. This topic is available in this page number, this topic is available in this page number, like some index paper is there. Now the student is going to answer for this question like a index paper. Sir, what is the object oriented approach advantage? Sir, here class concept is there. In procedure orientation, class is not there. Sir, here object is there. In procedure orientation, object is not there. Sir, here we are having overloading concept. In procedure orientation, we don't have overloading. Sir, here we are having overriding is there. There overriding is not there. Sir, here we have constructor concept is there. There we don't have any constructor. Sir, here we are having inheritance is there. There we don't have any inheritance. People just will laugh at your face. So he asked you just one line of question, what is the advantage of object orientation when compared to the procedure? Don't tell them your index paper. Don't tell them your index paper. Don't try to read what are the topics you are having in your academics. Just a simple answer is, sir, the data and code that act upon the data, we are unable to organize in a proper way in the procedure oriented approach. Sir, then what will happen in the object oriented approach? To answer this, sir, there is a CD is there. Sir, in a CD, at max we can store 50 songs, sir. Assume like that. At max we can copy 50 songs. Sir, one new technology came with the name called DVD. Sir, with DVD, if I could able to record maximum 53 or 54 songs, now tell me, is there anyone will move from CD to DVD? No one is going to prefer. Sir, no one is going to prefer. No. So whenever a new technology is coming, sir, it should concentrate. It should overcome the drawback of the existing one, and it should provide some extra flexibility. Suppose if the DVD, within the DVD, if I could able to record 1,000 videos, no doubt the CD will be gone from the market. Now everybody will start using the DVD. Am I correct or not? Now tell me, sir, when object oriented approach is entered into the market, definitely object oriented approach can overcome the drawback of the procedure oriented approach. Now what is the biggest advantage of the object oriented approach? Same story, sir. Data and code that act upon the data are perfectly organized. Data and code that act upon the data, they are perfectly organized. This organization is missing in the procedure orientation. Because of that, people are moving from procedure orientation to object orientation. Sir, when they are not properly organized, what will happen? Sir, if they are not properly organized, sir, if they are not properly organized, it leads to the following problems. Sir, do you know what is the following problem? Complexity can't be handled, and data is not secure. Sir, data is not secure. Complexity cannot be handled and data is not secure. Now we are going to understand very clearly about this point. Now I got some clarity about why people are moving from procedure orientation to object orientation, because in procedure orientation, data and code that act upon the data are not perfectly or properly organized, whereas in object orientation, it can be organized properly. If they are not properly organized, the following two problems will come. Now let us understand, sir, what is the mean by not properly organized? What is the mean by, sir, what is the mean by not properly organized? Sir, what is the mean by not properly organized? What is the meaning of this not properly organized? Now let me tell you what is the meaning of not properly organized. Now before moving to this, sir, before understanding this point, I want to ask you one more question. Why do we write a program? A basic question it was, sir, why do we write a program? If somebody will ask you this type of question, sir, why do we write a program? Simply answer them to process the data. Sir, generally, why do we write a program? To process the data. To process the data. Now the question is, in a program, sir, whether the program is written in C language or C++, or it may be in Python, or it may be in Java, or it may be in the C hash, C sharp, or it may be developed in the .NET. In any programming language, if you develop the program, in a program, how to handle the data? How to handle the data? Sir, in any programming language, there is a concept called a variable. I think everybody is aware of the concept of variable. Sir, through a concept of variable, we are going to handle the data. Am I correct or not? Sir, what is the data? What is data? What is mean by variable? Just 1 minute. Sir, generally, I want to store some data called 25, representing the age of a person. Suppose I am instructing, hello computer, can you please store my data somewhere in the memory block? Then computer is storing this data in the memory block. As you all know, memory is a collection of so many cells like your Excel sheet. So memory is a collection of so many cells like your Excel sheet. Assume your computer stored the data exactly in this free memory block. Now, sir, in the program, whenever I want to make some operations upon this data, whenever the data stored in the cell I want to update, whenever I want to fetch the data, sir, whenever I want to perform certain operation, whenever I want to perform some updations to this data, then what is the problem? You know, the problem is when you store the data, when you instruct the computer to store the data in the free memory block, the memory block that is readily available, in that available memory block, computer is going to store the data, but computer is not going to share where exactly it is stored. That details of the memory block, computer is not going to share readily. So then I do one thing, sir, then I do one thing. Okay, in my program, I can write like this, x equals to 25. X equals to 25. Generally, in every programming language, we will write like this only. X equals to 25, average equals to 91.2, something like we are going to write. Sir, what is the meaning? Sir, this instruction is instructing the computer, hello computer, out of these many memory block, whatever the memory block that is readily available, you can please store my data safely in that memory block for your kind information. Where exactly this data was stored internally for that memory block, why don't you assign some name? Why don't you assign some name called X, so that when I want this data in my program, I can call X in the program. Sir, when I want to update the data, simply X equals to 99. So X is referring this memory block. So the old value will be gone and a new value will be come. Sir, I want to perform certain addition operation on that data, no problem, X plus Y, X plus 5. So when you want to fetch the data, when you want to update the data, when you want to perform certain operation, I am just using this name or not? Sir, it is nothing but variable. A variable is nothing but a name given to a memory block which is holding the data. Sir, it is a name given to the memory block which is holding the data. So in our program, whether it is a C, C++, Python or anything, any programming language, data can be handled by using a concept called variable. So why do we write a program? To process the data. Sir, in a program or at program level, to handle the data, which concept is used? Variable concept is used to handle the data. Now the next one. Then the next question is, sir, how can I process the data in a program? How can I process the data in a program? Sir, processing means what? If you want to fetch the data, if you want to update the data, if you want to run any business logic on the data, if you want to check the validity of the data, any operation, if you want to perform on the data, you are supposed to write some instructions. Sir, you are supposed to write some instruction. Those group of instruction will be written inside a function. In any programming language, the group of instructions are called as a function. Sir, using instruction, we can process the data. Processing means fetching the data, updating the data, or performing certain business logic over the data. I want to validate the data. Anything if you want to perform, you are supposed to write some group of instruction. Sir, in any programming language, whether it is C, C++, Python, Java, .NET, any other programming language, you can take the group of instructions are enclosed in a function. Now tell me, sir, to process the data, what is required? Functions concept is required, nothing but code. Sir, code is nothing but set of instruction. Anything you can call, no problem. How can I process the data in a program? Sir, by using a concept called function. Now tell me, everyone. Sir, what is a program? Everyone, can you please tell me what is a program? Sir, a program consisting of data. Sir, the data can be stored or handled with a concept called variables. Sir, data, program contain, program or application. Sir, how to process the data? Can anyone tell me how to process the data? Sir, to process the data, we are supposed to write some code. Sir, code is nothing but a group of instruction. Those group of instructions are also known as functions. Clear, right? So every program is divided into two parts. Sir, every program is divided into two parts: data and code that act upon the data. Sir, every program consisting of two parts. What is that? Data and code that act upon the data. Now, sir, suppose if this application is developed in procedure oriented style. Sir, if this application or a project is developed in procedure oriented approach, what is the problem? Just now we discussed that. Sir, what is the problem? The problem is data and code that act upon the data. Data and code that act upon the data. Data and code that act upon the data, they are not properly organized. Sir, they are not properly organized. Sir, what is the problem if they are not properly organized? Let me tell you. Sir, what is the problem here? It is, now understand very clearly. Sir, there is a V1 holding the data, V2 holding the data, V3. Like there are almost 100 variables are there in my project. Sir, in my project almost 100 variables are there. In my project almost I have 100 variables are there. Sir, variables are used to handle the data. But not only data, to process the data, what is required? Some code is required. So we require some functionalities. Sir, we require some functionalities. Now, sir, what is F1? Sir, F1 is a function. What is F2? It is a function. Sir, what is F3? Function. What is F4? What is F4? F4 is a function, and so on. Sir, F10,000. Sir, F10,000. Sir, my program is a very bigger complex program, sir. Very complex program. Assume, sir, my program is a very complex program. It consisting of almost 10,000 functions. It consisting of almost 10,000 function. If this project is developed in procedure oriented style, do you know what is the problem? Sir, do you know what is the problem? The problem is this variable is accessible to every function, sir. In procedure oriented style, there is a concept called global variable. How many of you know this point? I don't know. Sir, there is something called a global variable is there. Sir, this variable is accessible to each and every function, sir. Each and every function, assume it is accessible to each and every function. In procedure oriented style, sir, this global data is accessible to every function. All 10,000 functions happily can access this data. Now understand the point very clearly. Sir, assume I developed this project. Almost I took 2 years to develop this project. Almost it took 2 years to develop the project. Now the project is delivered to the client. Now on day 1, immediately I got a call from client. Hello developer, whatever the project you delivered to me, it is not working properly. It's giving some wrong output. It's giving some wrong output. It's giving some wrong output. Now the developer started analyzing, started debugging. What is the problem? He came to know that, someone manipulated V3. Sir, because of this variable called V3, the project is giving something called unexpected output. Now tell me, who is eligible to access the data? Code is eligible to access the data. Now what are the functions we are having? F1, F2, F3, F4, like almost 10,000 functions are there. Now in procedure oriented style, to access V3, who is eligible? Can anyone tell me? F1 na, F2 na, F3 na, all are eligible. Anyone in the batch, can you please answer this question? Sir, in procedure orientation style, this variable is accessible to F1 or F2 or F3, or it is accessible to everyone. What is your answer? Everybody can access, sir. Everybody can access. Now tell me, what is a function? Sir, function is a group of instruction. Sir, assume every function, sir, every function minimum contains 100 lines of instructions, sir. Assume, sir, in every function I have minimum 100 lines of code. So these functions, how many we are having? 10,000 functions you are having, and every function, in every function, minimum I have 100 lines of code. So 10,000 into 100, you are going to get 10 lakh lines of code. Now the developer has to search line by line, in which function this variable V3 is accessed, in what way we are accessing the data. Like that, we have to cross check line by line, function by function, almost 10 lakh lines of code he has to debug. Sir, if it is your bad luck, maybe that line is exactly at last line. Sir, we don't know where exactly it was. Sir, if your fate is very bad, maybe that line is at last line, 10 lakh line. So we are supposed to interrogate each and every function if something went wrong. Am I correct or not? Sir, in the project, if something went wrong, we need to interrogate each and every function or not? Now tell me, are we in a position to handle this problem in a easiest manner? Are we in a position to handle this in an easiest manner? Is it a simple task to handle 10 lakh lines of code debugging? No, not at all. So that's why if something went wrong, complexity cannot be handled easily. Complexity cannot be handled. Sir, if something went wrong, we can't handle that easily. We can handle, but not easily. Now tell me, everyone, do you understand that if the data and the code that act upon the data, if it is not properly organized, what is the problem? Complexity cannot be handled. Did you understand the meaning of that line? Can you please text me, yes or no? Can you please text me? Is it clear or not clear? Complexity cannot be handled only. That point only I am talking about. Complexity cannot be handled if something went wrong. Now the next one. Sir, why you are saying that data is not secured? Why you are saying that data is not secured? Now let us take one more example to understand. Now, sir, I am just developing another application. So it is a banking application. Sir, it is developing in procedure oriented style. I am developing. Just procedure oriented style I am developing. Sir, this banking project in procedure oriented style. Sir, whether it is an application or a program or a software, whatever the terminology you can use, no problem. Already I mentioned very clearly what a program contains. Sir, program contains data, nothing but variables. Sir, what a program contains? Program contains code that act upon the data. Sir, code is nothing but functions. Am I correct or not? Functions. Code that act upon the data. Sir, always code will act upon the data. Always code will act upon the data. Anyone tell me, in the banking project, what is the important data? Generally customer balance. Am I correct or not? Balance in the customer account is the most important data for any bank. For any bank, sir, balance in the customer account is the most crucial part of the application or most important data. Now, sir, there are certain functions are also there. There are certain functions are also there in the banking application. You know what is that? Sir, manager. Sir, there is a manager is one function. Manager is one function. Cashier is another function. Cashier is another function. Next one, watchman. Watchman is one more function. Sir, sweeper is another function. Sweeper is another function. Now, anyone tell me? Sir, now anyone tell me? Sir, this banking application is developed in which style? This banking application is developed in procedure oriented style. Now, in procedure oriented style, who can access balance? Either a manager, cashier, everyone. Anyone answer my question? Sir, in procedure oriented style, who can access the data? Either one function or everyone. Either one function or everyone. Respond, man. Either one function or everyone. Sir, everyone is eligible. Everyone is eligible. Everyone is eligible to access the data. Now observe very clearly. Sir, one fine day, one customer came to the bank. One customer came to the bank. One customer came to the bank and he approached the cashier. I want to know my balance. He asked something like, I want to know how much I am having. Actually, that customer is always will maintain minimum 1 crore in his account. Minimum 1 crore. So cashier replied that, sir, you are having 0 rupees in your account. Sir, you are having 0 rupees in your account. You are having 0 rupees in your account. Now tell me, sir, what does that mean? Someone modified the balance. Am I correct or not? Sir, for this customer, someone updated the balance from 1 crore to 0. Now tell me, whom to blame? Anyone in the batch? Sir, whom to suspect and whom to blame? Manager, cashier, watchman, sweeper? Don't apply your general banking knowledge here. Sir, it is a project developed in procedure oriented style. Sir, in procedure oriented style, manager is eligible to access the balance. Cashier is eligible to access the balance. Watchman is eligible to access the balance. Even sweeper also eligible to access the balance. Now, who modified the balance as from 1 crore to 0? Whom to suspect? Sir, you have to interrogate each and every person. You have to interrogate each and every person, manager, cashier, watchman and sweeper, everyone you have to suspect, boss. Now tell me, sir, is there any security for this data? Like, is there any security for the data? Now tell me everyone, is there any security for the data here? Is there any security? So there is no security for the data. So what is the biggest problem here? Sir, in procedure orientation, the problem is data is not secured. I hope thoda you got some clarity about what is the drawback of procedure orientation. In our previous example, we understood that if something went wrong, we can't handle that problem easily. And now we understood that data is not secure. Now let me make it very clear with some other example, boss. Let me make it very clearly with some other example. Sir, assume it is not a banking application. Sir, assume it is a kind of home application. It's a kind of something called home application. It's a kind of home application developed in procedure oriented style, sir. Sir, how you are saying that it is a procedure oriented style? Every time you are drawing some rectangular boxes and you are saying that it is procedure oriented. Tomorrow, if somebody will ask me, how can we identify that this project is developed in procedure oriented or object oriented? Just wait for a few minutes. You are also automatically could able to answer just by looking at those boxes whether the project is developed in procedure orientation or object orientation. No doubt at all. Now everyone tell me, sir, an application or a program, what a program contains data or we can call it as a variables. Sir, not only data, every program contains code that act upon the data, nothing but functions. Sir, you know, in a house, what is the important data? Sir, in our house, gold ornaments, any gold jewelry, sir, cash, any asset papers, assets, any land paper, land papers, etc. Sir, these are the very important data. Sir, this is the very important data in our home application. Clear? Now, sir, assume in this home application, sir, there are certain functions are there. There are certain functions are there. Father is one function, mother is another function, and grandfather is one more function, and grandmother is another function. So son one, first son, and second son, and also daughter. Sir, these are all assume that they are all functions. Sir, assume that they are all functions. Now the question is, try to understand everyone. Now anyone tell me, sir, if it is developed in procedure oriented style, who is eligible to access the gold in the home? Don't apply your general knowledge with respect to the procedure oriented style. Who is eligible to access the gold? Everyone, boss. Everyone. Sir, one fine day, nothing will happen to any door. No damage, no door broken, no window broken. Unfortunately, from my house, 1 kg gold gone. Sir, 1 kg gold gone. Sir, no damage happened to any door or window, something. No other person came into house. Suddenly, 1 kg gold gone from your birua. Now tell me, anyone whom I have to suspect, either one or everyone. Whom I have to suspect, either one or everyone. What is your answer? Either one or everyone? Sir, everyone. You have to interrogate your father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, son one, son two, daughter, everybody you are supposed to suspect. Now tell me, sir, if any project is, any application is developed in the procedure orientation style, is there any security for the data? Is there any security for the data? Is there any security for the data? Not at all. Sir, not at all. If something went wrong, even in your house also, we have to suspect each and every person. We have to suspect each and every person, no doubt at all. Now let us come to the conclusion. Let us come to the conclusion. Let us come to the conclusion. Now let me open that bank application. Let me open that bank application. So let me take another copy of this bank application as a fourth application. Now anyone, can you please tell me, as per your knowledge, your banking, if you know banking sector very well, actually who is eligible to access the data called balance? Anyone tell me who is eligible to access the data called balance? Either a manager or cashier. Am I correct or not? Either a manager or cashier, they are eligible to access the data. Are watchman, get out, you are not eligible. Are sweeper, you are also not eligible. Watchman and sweeper, they are not eligible persons. But if the banking application is developed in the procedure oriented style, the problem is the data is accessible to each and every function. That's the biggest problem. You know, in object orientation, why don't we club the data? Why don't we club the data and the eligible code that act upon the data? Sir, why don't we club the data and the eligible code that act upon the data? Eligible code that act upon the data into a separate unit, sir. Why don't you construct a wall? Why don't you construct a wall? Sir, if I construct a wall around this data and code, what will happen? Earlier, data is freely flowing. In the entire application, anybody can access the data. There is no restriction. Sir, data is freely flowing. Now that freely flowing behavior, we have restricted to only this room. So balance is accessible to either manager or cashier only. Watchman, get out, you are not eligible. Sweeper, get out, you are not eligible, because balance is accessible to either a manager or cashier. So this kind of clubbing is possible in object orientation. Now tell me, are you in a position, by looking at this diagram, whether it is implemented in the procedure oriented or object oriented style, are you in a position to answer now? Now tell me, sir, is it not clubbing? Is it not clubbing? Sir, whenever data and code is clubbed together, now tell me, is it developed in the procedure oriented or object oriented style? Sir, it is developed in object oriented style. Now I am asking everyone, can you please respond, boss? By looking at this diagram, are you in a position to answer whether this project is developed in procedure oriented or object oriented? Yes or no? Yes or no? So let me show you one more example. So by looking at this diagram, are you clubbing the data and eligible code that act upon the data? Are you doing that kind of operation like clubbing operation? Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now tell me, so are we performing any clubbing operation here? No, we didn't perform any club operation. We are not clubbing the data and code that act upon the data. Then without any second thought, we could able to answer that, sir, by looking at this diagram, yes, it is developed in procedure oriented style. Now have a look once. So when somebody will show you the diagram like this, so in this the data and code that act upon the data is clubbed into a single unit of organization. This concept is nothing but your encapsulation. This concept is nothing but encapsulation. In object oriented programming, there is a beautiful concept called encapsulation. So in the tomorrow's session, I can make it very clear once again. What are the objective? 4 pillars are there for object orientation. 4 pillars are there: encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. In the next session, we are going to talk about what is encapsulation, what is abstraction, what is polymorphism, what is inheritance. With these features, how we can overcome the drawbacks of the procedure oriented programming.